Hi there, folks, and welcome to another WP-Tonic workshop between me and my co-worker and expert, Haroon. It's part of the WP-Tonic workshop ongoing series with Spencer Forum, with Haroon, and an increasing number of experts that will be giving their knowledge free of charge to the WordPress community. In this particular workshop, we're going to go, which is a series around BuddyBoss. We're going to be talking about how to integrate BuddyBoss with Fluent CRM but also there isn't a direct integration between Fluent CRM and BuddyBoss at the present moment, even though the Fluent CRM team have indicated this is on their urgent list. But what the exciting thing, listeners and viewers, is that would be a major problem. Even a year ago, that would be, apart from kind of a custom hand coding solution, that would be a major problem. But there's a new breed of what I call Zapier-like plugins in the WordPress ecosystem that allow the non-coder to take one WordPress plugin and get it to communicate with another without a direct integration. And we're going to be talking about that. Am I on the right track, Haroon? And have I done a good intro about what we're going to be talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. And Zapier is the right tool to use as an example of what they're trying to achieve. Yes.
I think the two that come to mind is Uncanny Automator and Automator WP. We come from it from two slightly, I have more experience with Uncanny Automator, but you have more experience with Automator WP. In this particular workshop, Haroon, I have no particular inclination about which one you're going to demo. I'm totally happy if you choose either one. But they are the two. I have an inclination more for the company and the founders when it comes to Uncanny Automator. But I think you are more into the Automator WP. But the fundamentals are going to be the same, are they not, Haroon?
Absolutely. They're very, very similar products to the extent that there was even some controversy on WordPress-related forums that one was the copy of the other. But then the accused showed some proof that, hey, this is a project that we started in parallel to that one, and there's no shared code. There may be inspiration, but that's like creative freedom of drawing inspiration from other products. And then it could be argued that WP Fusion was the one who started it all. And even Uncanny Automator took inspiration from WP Fusion to build their product and added on some other features. And then there was this other WordPress plugin for similar features. It was I think if I don't recall the title exactly. It was something like If Then WordPress or something like that. It has sort of faded into obscurity for some reason, but it was also a solid product for what it did. So yeah, right. It's like a whole breed of plugins, and you can't really go wrong with Uncanny or Automator WP or WP Fusion for that matter, where it's a better fit.
Yeah. I just want to, before we get into it, and Haroon's going to share his screen, and we're going to spend the next 20-25 minutes, and then we're going to keep it short and sweet, but then we've got another session coming up this week. So we'll be delving it even. So don't worry if this is a short intro, because we will be covering it in more detail in the next session that's coming up this week. But when it comes to WP Fusion, which Haroon has mentioned, it's a great product from Jack and his team. He's a great developer and a great WordPress developer and human being. But I would utilize that as a tool if you're looking to integrate WordPress with an external CRM system like ActiveCampaign, Drip, or Keep, something like that. You are trying to integrate external CRM, SaaS CRM with WordPress. We're talking about internal integration of an internal CRM product, which I feel the leading one is Fluent CRM. So do you want to share your screen and take us on a quick tour of this journey, Haroon?
Absolutely. And to add to what you just mentioned, I agree. WP Fusion is my third choice for this because of that very reason, that it's primarily helpful when your CRM is not hosted on the same native site where you're doing all the automations. That's where its primary strength lies. And with that too, we can have a Fluent CRM installation as a separate WordPress install, like crm.domain.com, or Groundhog even as a separate domain installation. And in fact, with Groundhog, they just released an update with Fluent CRM that is built for such scenarios where Groundhog is on a separate install and you're doing your main WordPress site on a separate install. So to keep things in sync and to automate one thing on one end based on the data coming in from the other end and all of that. So yeah, it's a good
I've got nothing against Groundhog. It's about very similar to the automation around Uncanny Automator and Automator WP. I think in most of these sectors, there tends to be two, maybe three main players. When it comes to native marketing automation, I think both Fluent CRM and Groundhog are two great solutions. I just feel that with Fluent, actually the actual interface design of Groundhog actually appeals to me and Haroon more. But it's totally opposite based on my experience when it comes to clientele. They actually prefer the Fluent way of interface design. That's why I promote Fluent CRM.
Fluent, yes. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So before we start with this, I need to take around maybe between 5 to 10 minutes to shed light upon some of the things that we left from the last session about Lifter LMS memberships and WooCommerce products and access to courses, the whole thing that we were discussing. Although that's not as much in scope of BuddyBoss as it is under scope of WooCommerce membership.
Feel free to go. We're not misleading the people that are viewing this because, like I say, later on this week, we've got another session and we're going to be delving into this even with some more detail.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So go ahead, do whatever you want to do. Talk about what you wanted to.
So last time I didn't have that setup quite ready in that I hadn't set up a membership properly to show how to grant access to Lifter LMS courses via a WooCommerce product that grants a Lifter LMS membership. So the way we need to set it up is we first create WooCommerce products pertaining to those memberships. So I've created a product category called subscriptions. And I've created 3 subscriptions. 2 of them are subscription products. And since there's no need for a subscription for a lifetime subscription, I'm just calling it subscription, but it is a simple product. So if I edit these, first, we've got this monthly subscription. It is a WooCommerce subscription product, a simple subscription with a price of $10 every month, and it never expires. That's pretty much it. Second one is an annual subscription with the price of $100 every year and it never expires. And the third one is not a subscription. We're calling it lifetime subscription, but since it doesn't need to recur any payments, we're just giving it a name of a subscription. Otherwise, it's just a simple product with a price tag of $500 and it gives you lifetime access. So this is the product setup that we've done. I'm going to close these. Now, next thing we've done is created a membership. You can have as many membership plans as you want, but for demonstration purposes, I've just created one. So no matter which subscription you buy based on your payment preferences, whether you want to pay monthly, whether you want to pay annually, or whether you just want to pay once for lifetime access, all three of those subscriptions will give you access to this membership while your subscription is active. The lifetime one is never going to expire. The other two are going to expire as soon as as soon as your card cancels out, or like your card expires, or you actually cancel the subscription, then your access is going to expire. So in this membership, under access plans, we've created 3 access plans. You can name them whatever you want. Let's expand them and just take a brief look. So the first one I've titled monthly, and for its product, using this WooCommerce integration with Lifter LMS, I've selected the monthly subscription product that I just showed you. So as long as someone has like access to this monthly subscription product, they're going to have access to this particular membership. And then I've created another plan called annual, and its access is tied to the annual subscription product. And finally, I've created a lifetime plan, and its access is tied to the lifetime subscription product. And all good till here. So this membership now will give users access to any restricted content. We can set that up in this restrictions tab. So over here, auto enrollment tab, sorry, not restriction tab. So under auto enrollment, so whenever someone gets access to this membership, we can grant them access to courses. We can select courses from this drop-down and add them to the list. And as long as they have access to this membership plan, they can just go to the courses page and start taking the course. They don't need to separately pay for that course or anything of the sort. You can still set up a course to have its own price tag for being purchased individually by those who don't have access to this membership. So it can work in parallel to this whole membership setup. But there was something that we just missed in our last lecture because I didn't have things configured. So I thought I'd just touch upon it for completion purpose before we move on to the BuddyBoss and Fluent CRM integration.
I just want to quickly say to our viewers of this, I've had some emails say to me, why does WP-Tonic like to set up both Lifter LMS and LearnDash with WooCommerce? And Haroon's got a slightly different take to this because he likes MemberPress, which is excellent. But he's mostly his experience, and I might be putting words in his mouth to some extent, has been with LearnDash. Now, with Lifter LMS, they've got their own native shopping membership setup, which works beautifully. But the reason why we like using WooCommerce both with LearnDash and Lifter is that we support both on a regular basis. And the other thing, with using something like cart flows or launch flows, a very similar situation to Uncanny, Automator and Automation WP. They're 2 excellent solutions. You have the possibility of building beautiful one-page checkouts that are very suitable for membership websites, and then the possibility of marketing automation and up bumps, down bumps, just a modern shopping cart experience that is what people are looking for, not only for WooCommerce e-commerce, but also with a modern membership website, and that's why we do it. I'm sorry to interrupt, Haroon, but I just wanted to make that clear to the viewers.
No worries. And to add a bit to that. Yes, previously Lifter LMS was among the two, the only one offering membership facility features as well. But as of last year, when they launched it, it wasn't as robust, and I haven't tried it recently, so I don't know how great it is now. But yes, LearnDash has also started to offer membership features within its plugin. So yeah, it's great to see that both are on a parity level in terms of this feature.
It was launched. Thanks for bringing that up, but it was launched. I don't know if you would agree with this. It was launched in a rather, I felt, as kind of. I'm struggling for the right words, Haroon, which I normally don't. It was launched in a kind of confusing way to me, and also the support documentation wasn't that clear to me.
Yes,
the other reason why we still like WooCommerce with cart flows or launch flows is it enables you to combine it with physical products or any other sub thing that you might want to add to sell to your membership people.
Agreed.
So that's why we do it. But thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome. So now coming to BuddyBoss with FluentCRM. So here we are on the AutomatorWP site on their add-ons page for BuddyBoss. And here we can see the sort of triggers and actions and filters they offer for BuddyBoss. So in terms of triggers, you can have an automation trigger when a user account gets activated, when a user starts following someone. Some of these are available in the free version of AutomatorWP. So you can take a look at this link to see the entire list. User updates an avatar or joins a group or creates a forum and all. And then there are premium ones. User registers with a specific field value. So as you have user registration fields, custom registration fields in BuddyBoss, so you can set an automation to trigger only when a user has registered with a particular field value. For example, you can have users registered as students or instructors. So when someone registers as a student, you might want to have a different automation. When someone registers as an instructor, you might want to put them in a different automation. So you can have a drop-down field with two options, students and instructors, as a custom registration field in BuddyBoss, and then put them into two different funnels based on whether the value of that field was student or instructor, which is an excellent automation feature. And a user gets a follower, loses a follower, gets an email invited user registered. So they send someone an email invite and that person registers. We can then put them in an automation. We can send them a thank you mail that, hey, you invited this user and they registered. So like, here's a coupon code for you for your next checkout. Here's like a 10% off. Or if after a certain number of users have registered, that can be triggered. And so like there's a plethora of automation triggers available. User replies to an activity stream message. I'm not speaking out all of their titles because that's going to take forever, but you get the idea. User creates a group, user leaves a group, user gets a favorite in a topic of a forum. So you can get very, very specific as well. And then there are actions. So a trigger can start an automation, and an action is something that is performed, a step that is performed as part of that automation. So a user does something, a user registers using a particular field, you can set user's profile type to student or to teacher. User, let's say, joins a group, you can add a notification to a user, which sends a BuddyBoss notification, or you can start a friendship. You can start following any user who registers, or have a user follow you. And then there are filters in the CRM. You can filter users with particular profile types. You can filter users with particular profile fields, which is very useful to have in when you're dealing with a huge list of users in the CRM. And you don't want to go back and forth between the BuddyBoss users list and the FluentCRM users list, profile list, to see whether a user has a particular profile type in BuddyBoss. So having those filters available in FluentCRM is amazing. And then there's the auto tagging feature. So there are activity tags to see the user's activity information, for example, content, title, etc. Sorry, these are tags that you can use to fill out automatically when you send users an email. So based on their activity, content can be retrieved from their activity feed, and user profile field tags to access to the user's profile field values. Yeah, you can use FluentCRM tags to access profile fields that are not saved in FluentCRM, that are saved in a user's BuddyBoss profile. And raw profile fields are basically custom fields of the user's profiles. So these are the triggers, actions, and filters for BuddyBoss. And then on the other side, let's take a look at the triggers, actions, and filters for FluentCRM. So before we go there, you can have any of these triggers, be it a BuddyBoss trigger or a FluentCRM trigger, and it can start one action or a list of actions that could be a combination of BuddyBoss actions, FluentCRM actions, or actions of any plugin that is supported by Automator WP. So that lets you really mix up automations in several tools that you might be using. For example, someone registers with a particular profile field, then firstly set a particular tag on them in the CRM, and maybe automatically give them access to a particular course or in Lifter LMS. And let's say you have some event plugin like the events calendar. So maybe automatically add them to your upcoming event as an attendant when they register on your site. So like there's a plethora of automation possibilities. Now looking at the FluentCRM triggers and actions, when a tag is added to a user, you can perform any BuddyBoss action. So if a user gets a particular tag added by a third-party tool or by any other tool or even by manual addition, you can send a user a private message directly. So it's useful. For example, you've set WooCommerce with Automator WP, or you've set WooCommerce with FluentCRM to automatically tag users when they make a purchase. So let's say someone buys a product and the WooCommerce FluentCRM integration automatically adds a tag to them. When that tag is added, you can have BuddyBoss send them a private message in addition to the email that they receive. And in that private message, it could come from your user profile on the site, so that the recipient feels that the site owner is messaging me on the social network, thanking me for the purchase. It's more of an organic sort of communication feel rather than just receiving an email, which feels more automated. So that way you can nurture your customers better, and they can maybe respond to that message and start a conversation, and you can make another sale. You can discuss things with them.
I think you just touched something really important there, because I don't know if you found this with the customers the clientele that you've been dealing with recently. I think with a lot of these tools, sometimes they can go a bit crazy, but what they should be really aiming at is using these tools that enable them to give an experience to their own clientele of personal engagement.
Absolutely.
Rather than give the feeling of massive automation, which they can do if they go a bit crazy with all this.
Yes,
am I explaining myself coherently here, Arun?
Absolutely. I completely agree. Yes. And I've thought of it before as well, that these tools give us a brilliant way, especially with a platform like BuddyBoss. They give us a brilliant way of personalized communication without having to write it all down ourselves. And even with email, like instead of having a simple sales pitched automatic email from that these tools usually provide you with, you can have a chain of emails that sounds way more personal. And you can set it up to be automated without having the user feel that it's automated. And then you can have your SOPs that your team responds to every feedback they get in a very personal manner. rather than trying to automate everything, try to automate the core touch points and then take it personally from there. For example, send a user a private message through the automation that we discussed. And when the user responds, don't set an automation to then respond to that conversation. Then have a human-to-human interaction with them. And that way build a stronger relationship with your customer. So yes, automation to an extent is great. Beyond that, if you eliminate human interaction, then it all seems like you're interacting with a bot, and that's not great for business. All right, so other triggers, like similarly to when an ad is tagged, a tag is added, when a tag is removed, you can trigger another automation. For example, let's say they have a subscription in WooCommerce, and that subscription is tied to a FluentCRM tag. So when their subscription expires or they cancel it, that tag should be removed. And FluentCRM automatically removes that tag. And when that tag is removed, you might want to maybe send another private message to the user or send them a coupon code for renewal that, hey, we saw that your subscription expired and you haven't renewed it. So how about 25% off for this renewal? So much you can do based on that. And user gets added to a list or removed from a list based on that list in FluentCRM. Similar to tags, to me, having both tags and lists kind of gets redundant and overcomplicated. That's one thing I prefer in Groundhog. There are no lists, there are only tags. But hey, I mean, at times you might want to keep tagging and lists separate. So it's up to you whether you even use both lists and tags or not. You can even use FluentCRM without any lists by just using tags. And then there are sorry, you're about to say something?
I was debating if, because you're in flow and I have a tendency to interrupt people, but
no worries.
I don't want the, I think because of time restraints, and we're doing this other one later on during the week, I think we are, I think it's on Friday, well, it could be on Wednesday. I'm not sure. It's either Wednesday or Friday.
It's on Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday because we're doing this on Wednesday.
Yes.
I think I get a lot of clientele saying to me that they're looking at utilizing FluentCRM or Groundhog, and they've already got a SaaS solution which they're using for their membership site, and it's called, either they've got the membership site on WordPress or they got it on another membership type e-learning platform, right? And either they're using the SaaS's marketing platform or they're using something like ActiveCampaign. And and the costs, because they're getting successful, the costs are accelerating quite rapidly. So they're looking at WordPress, Arun, but then they say to me, we've got great fears about reliability, about all of this working, because we've had other experiences of using WordPress and it's not panned out. And I think a lot of it, Haroon, is around cheap hosting, poor quality hosting, and not having a support team that keep the plugins up to date or can intervene when there might be some conflict problem, but keep things under observation. But also the hosting that they got was never up to the job. What's your own thoughts about what I've just said, Haroon?
I completely agree. And one of the most critical components of any self-hosted website, be it on whatever platform, WordPress, those ancient ones that are still used by some, Joomla and Drupal, or any more modern ones like Ghost, which I've always admired, the Node.js-based blogging platform that started off by a member of the WordPress team initially. And I've followed its development in parallel to WordPress. I love it. And then there are other CRMs, and other platforms. So the one of the most critical aspects of running a system like that is hosting. I cannot stress it enough. I've got clients for whom I've built magnificent websites crafted with a lot of attention to detail, and they just couldn't run them because they insisted that, hey, we're going to use our own hosting. We're going to cheap out on hosting. We're just going to use something. I don't know if I'm allowed to malign companies on this podcast.
No, let's not go down that route.
So I'm not going to name names, but like cheap run-of-the-mill hosting companies that get they have massive advertising budgets, and there are conglomerates that acquire hosting companies and then just offer you the same service essentially, no matter which of their brand names you go for. And it's their only objective is to make as many upsells to unsuspecting customers as possible while offering them very little value in the entry-level plans. That's just like their hook. So yeah, a perfectly great platform built with attention to detail can be ruined if they don't have the right hosting. And second aspect is not having a good team of developers or even one developer on a retainer contract to maintain the solution on an ongoing basis, because they don't know what goes into maintaining such solutions. And it's not like the SaaS products that they would otherwise use as alternatives. They don't get maintained. Those people have several developers on board to do routine maintenance. But in order to reap the benefits of moving from a SaaS to WordPress, you do have to invest in the right infrastructure in form of hosting and the right support team to maintain it on a regular basis.
And then, just to do a kind of push for WP-Tonic, that's what our solution is about, folks. It's about offering you great hosting, a great support team, which you would get with a SaaS, at a great price, plus you get all the flexibility of design and other functionality that you might at some stage want to add from the WordPress ecosystem, which you wouldn't be allowed on a SaaS platform. You're basically stuck with what they want to offer you. With our system, you get the benefits of a SaaS platform, but still have access to the whole WordPress ecosystem and the ability to build out custom functionality and design. So we feel at the WP-Tonic that we offer the best of both worlds. Do you see where we're coming from, Haroon?
Absolutely, I completely agree. And I'm thinking that we can wrap today's session by just discussing some more of these actions. And while we're at it, we have BuddyBoss and FluentCRM lists open. I'm gonna go ahead and open Lifter LMS and WooCommerce, because that's like a core. These are core parts of our stacks, and WooCommerce memberships and subscriptions. We rarely use WooCommerce memberships, but yes, WooCommerce subscription is an important part of our usual stack. So I'm just going to open these as well. So while we have the time, we can just discuss these and then do the actual hands-on in our Wednesday session. So some other actions over here, really important ones. Someone registers or someone gets a follower, and you can, or let's say someone gets a follower 50 times. Excuse me. Someone gets a follower, let's say 100 times. But in Automator WP, you can set the number of times a particular action is performed till before the automation triggers. So let's say someone gets a follower 100 times. You want to add a tag to the user in BuddyBoss of, let's say, influencer. Sorry, in FluentCRM of influencer, that, hey, on our little platform, on our little social network, this person has got 100 followers. So let's call them an influencer. And now you know that 100 people follow this person on your platform. So you can send a blast to all influencers that only they're going to see that, hey, you guys are the people who have more than 100 followers on our platform. This is an exclusive list only for you guys, and we're going to help you make the most of your influence on this platform. Why don't you sign up for our affiliate system and start promoting these products? So there's so many ways to promote your products and services and businesses and build relationships using these automations. And then like these are the standard features of CRM, like creating a contact, removing a tag from a user, adding a user to a list, removing user from a list, and add contact from list, remove contact from list, and all of that. So these actions can be triggered based on any of these BuddyBoss triggers as well. And then let's take a quick look at Lifter LMS automations. So user attempts a quiz, completes a lesson, completes a section, completes a course, fails a quiz. You can send them any communication, or you can add a tag in the CRM to segment them better, that, hey, these are the users who failed the quiz. So let's say they might get demotivated. Let's send them access to a free lesson to help them pass the quiz, or like particular help to encourage them to re-engage with the platform, because you don't want to lose users simply because they failed a quiz. So a little encouragement, one encouraging email can go a long way. And user earns the certificate, you can trigger automations. Let's say someone earns 5 certificates in 5 of your courses, you can give them a free product or a coupon in WooCommerce, or add them to a separate subscription. And here are some WooCommerce triggers and actions. Sorry, before that, user fails an assignment. And then Lifter LMS actions, someone attempts one particular quiz in a particular course that covers maybe subjects of some other courses. You can use that to, or let's say someone has completed a few lessons in course A, and there are lessons in course B that are covered in those particular lessons of course A. You can mark those lessons in course B as complete if they've earned the credits. It's essentially, let's say they've earned the credits in course A, you want to give them those credits in course B, so they don't have to go through the same lessons in course B. So you can mark those lessons as complete for them in a separate course based on their progress in one course, and enroll users in a course based on.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up now, because I've got an important call I've got to do in the next 5 minutes. But we'll be back next this Wednesday. I think what I think we've clearly shown is how automation WP or Uncanny Automator can really assist you with a learning and with something like FluentCRM to really get a really custom focused solution when it comes to encouraging people to continue with a course, to market your course, I think, and we'll be going in more depth this Wednesday. Thanks, Haroon, and thanks for giving a peek. Like I say, we're going to go into even more. I think we've given a good start here. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.